Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Aaron Trevino here, and we have a terrific guest. We have Pablo Rodriguez. He is a real estate investor. What's going on, Pablo?
What's going on? How's it going, brother?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. So what are you up to this weekend?
Oh man, the usual. Hanging out with a few of the fellas. Working on closing the motel deal. Getting ready to take down my first commercial property. Uh, just going after life, man. I'm looking to get some apartments and build this portfolio.
Beautiful. That's what I like to hear. So for the those of us who don't know you, could you kind of introduce yourself and tell us a bit more about you?
Definitely. So my name's Pablo Rodriguez. A lot of people know me as the Hustlepreneur. That was a thing, from a few years ago when I was at a Infinity Gauntlet and doing the Ground Zero scene. But originally at a Lower East Side Manhattan, came down to Texas about 7, 8 years ago. Uh, didn't know anything about real estate then, but it was like on my path. It was just destined to be. And luckily I got involved with some of the right people like David Velasquez and Sam Madrid and Madison Madrid, who first got me started in my whole real estate endeavors and helped me learn. And then I took off into wholesaling with Aaron Bevins and Quentin Flores and Garrett Sanchez. We were all at different points in times partnered up with each other. Uh, Built some great companies, met some great people, inspired a lot of people, and hope to inspire so many more as well. But basically, I came from nothing and got into it and made myself into something, man. And for the last 3 years, been doing predominantly wholesaling. Got involved. Now I'm looking more towards building a rental portfolio. Been working on that. Got a couple commercial deals I'm working on. So just, everything is baby steps. But so long as you keep pursuing it, you can overcome all of your obstacles. And I've just been fortunate and blessed in that aspect.
Absolutely. There's a lot to be said for that. So I'm just curious, when you came in from New York and you didn't really know much about real estate, was there, what was your motivation? Was there something, a moment or something that motivated you to get into real estate?
Well, it was like, so I've never been one I never wanted to be, like a worker. It's just not my thing. And I've always envisioned myself doing something great. I just didn't know what. Like I used to work in the oil field. I was a heavy equipment operator for a frac sanding company. And I did that, and the oil field went belly up the same year I started. And sorry. Uh, then I went to work at a mining quarry where I was a heavy equipment operator there, and I just hated it. It's just like the whole 40-40-40 plan has just never been my thing. And so when you have that energy and you're looking for something, you don't know what necessarily, but you know that you're destined for more. It's gonna come on your path if you keep pursuing it. And so for me, it was just somebody recognized my hustle in a MLM company that I used to be a part of. And he was like, man, you know what? You'd be a savage at real estate. And that was David Velasquez. And he introduced me to Sam and Madison Madrid. And they showed me owner finance. And then I learned about wholesaling, So it was just like, I didn't know what I was going to do that was going to be great, but it found me, so to speak. You know what I mean? And for me, being in real estate it gives me that thrill. I love the hustle. I love the grind. And as I learn more and more about it, I love it even more. So for me, it's just like the sky's the limit. So why not go all the way after it? I mean, look, I'm a guy, and if I can do it, anybody can do it. Because I mean, look at me. Like I'm 38 years old. I did 12 and a half years in the feds. I have a GED from Rikers Island. I don't have no college, and I've made six figures over and over and over and over and over the last 3 years. Like things have been a blessing, you know what I mean? But if I can do it, hell, anybody can do it.
Yeah,
You just gotta want it. It's like who wants it? You know what I mean? Like right now, I got like 16.3 acres that I'm selling right now, and I'm selling it at a 10% cap rate. Who wants it? Somebody's gonna buy it. You just got to put that energy out there, and it's gonna happen.
Yeah, absolutely. You kind of touched on something kind of cool that it's tough for some people is that, a lot of people, they face an adversity and they just stop, or you kind of mentioned how, you know there's a path there, but you're not sure what it is. You know, how do you push forward without seeing the big picture?
It's like in blind faith. It's like, okay, look at it like this, right? You're on one end of the country, right? You're in California, as an example. And in order to hit your goals, you got to basically get all the way across to, to Virginia or whatever. The fastest way between point A to point B is a straight line, right? So no matter what the obstacle is, you just have to plow through, because if you don't go straight through, what a lot of people do is they get to a problem or an obstacle, and when they confront it, they get caught up thinking about, oh my God, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Why is this happening? Instead of saying to themselves, how do we get through this? What's the solution to this? Once you figure out the solution, you can solve the problem. But you have to have a mindset. Most people get they get too caught up in the problem to see their way through it. And I've dealt with obstacles, and I just keep going through them, man. You got to want it. If you don't want it, then, well, you end up like everybody else who gets left behind.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just curious too. You obviously have, you have a great mindset. Do you practice that, or how do you kind of keep your mind sharp?
You tell me who your friends are, and I'll tell you who you are. You tell me what your friends do, and I'll tell you what you're going to end up doing. See, all my friends, they're all business owners. Like I changed my circle. You got to start being around the people that you want to, that are at the level you want to aspire to be at, or all on the same path to an upper level. But you got to have the same mindset. You know what I mean? So I hang around entrepreneurs. I read a lot. I listen to my mind. I just keep positive flow around it. Like anything negative, I curve it real quick. You can't have toxic stuff around you and expect, to have positive energy. If you have too much toxicity around you, if you don't trim that toxic waste out of your life, it's just going to hold you back.
Yeah.
You have to be determined to be on that all the time, to be bettering yourself, to be looking forward. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like having fun. I love playing video games, but I want to live a lifestyle where I can do everything on my own time. And so you sacrifice now in order to achieve that. So when everybody else is like, oh, well, I'm only going to, grind till 10, 11 o'clock tonight, and then I'm going to go hit the club. Well, I mean, why don't you grind until 3, 4 o'clock in the morning like you would in that club? Like, it's how bad do you want it? That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of with, fighting negativity. I mean, it can be tough for some people. Maybe you move to a new city. Maybe you have family and friends who, are a bit negative as well. You have everything on your cell phone. You have the media. How do you kind of block all of that out?
Well, I mean, you can't, like social media. I see a lot of what's on there, right? But I don't get caught up wasting time in that. Like, I'm not trying to live through somebody else's window. I'm trying to live my own life. You know what I mean? So it's like, you can't do what the other 98% will do. You have to, I mean, you want to be a phone zombie, looking at someone else live life, working minimum wage. Well, if that's what you're happy with, that's what you're happy with. But for me, I seek to achieve more. Like, I don't want to settle for mediocre. Not to sell anybody's taste or anything, but I don't want to settle for mediocre when I have big goals, big dreams. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm just curious. You kind of mentioned how, it sounds like you kind of changed the people you're around, you changed your circle. What's the big difference in terms of mentality between your old group and your new one?
Everybody that's around me now is growing. Like, they're always looking at the next opportunity. They're what's the next power move that we can make? I have a friend, he owns a landscaping company, right? And he's doing contracts from here to Waco. He's going after, he's growing his business. Like, everybody's on some level of entrepreneurship. Whether it's my other friend that's here with me now, he's a musician. He's getting ready to go to Atlanta. Like, everybody's on that come up. Everybody's on that grind up. Like, nobody's just sitting there twiddling their thumbs. So, I mean, you got to, lions hunt with lions, right? You don't see lions hunting with sheep, do you? right? So
Yeah.
you got to surround. If you're going to be a lion, you got to surround yourself with lions. If you're going to be a sheep, then be a sheep.
Absolutely. There's a lot to be said for, your network and what you put in your head, because it seems like, you're basically saying that a lot of the battle is in your own mind.
I mean, it is because look, I have no formal education, and I'm doing fantastic. I have no formal education. The highest level I achieved in high school was as a sophomore, and then I got my GED, and that was. But I've never done any other type of school, and I'm doing great in this. So it's how bad do you want it? You just have to be able to talk to people. People relate with real people. How bad do you want it? How are you going to overcome the hurdles? Networking with other people, growing your business, learning. You can always learn from other people. Like I've learned a lot in this business. I've learned a lot from Aaron Bevins. I learned a lot from Mitzi Diane. I've learned a lot from Abigail Santangelo. Edwin Morales. Like people who I haven't even met face to face. Like Miss Steven but they're all out here. Like you can learn from all of those people just through online presence. I mean, it's just how bad do you want it? I have a young guy on my team, Christian Malara, who's right now he's deep diving into owner finance. How bad do you want it? He's 19 years old. How hungry are you? If you're hungry, you're gonna eat. That's what I was taught. Are you good?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're hungry, you're gonna eat.
And there's plenty of knowledge out here. There's plenty of free knowledge out here that anybody can pick up and find. They just have to look for it. I mean, I put tons of information out there. So anybody can build this business in any state. You just got to find out what works in your state. Tyler Austin, let me tell you what, Tyler Austin is truly one of the ones responsible for my business clearing almost 8 figures this year. Tyler Austin is the data king. He showed me how to clean up my data, how to really build my campaigns out, how to track everything so that way I can make sure we hit as much as possible. And it's been monumental in my business. If you guys don't know who Tyler Austin is from REI Sift, look him up. He can help you make that data make sense. But
Absolutely.
Tyler Austin is fantastic. So, I mean, there's so many people out here you can learn from. It's just, do you want it?
Sure. Well, what do you think the problem is, people with data? Like what are people doing different, wrong that they should be doing better?
Well, I mean, it just depends. It depends on what you're doing within your business, right? For us, we needed the help with the data. You got to have people who can recognize, like I'm not a data guy, right? I'm gonna get out there and hustle, go talk to the people, get the contracts done. But my partner, IJ, she's good with the data, and then I started learning about it, and it just depends on what's working within your business and what's not. But data is king, and that's going to help you be able to get more leads. The more leads you have, the more money you make. So I definitely pay attention to that. But it's going to be on an individual basis, more or less. I can only speak on mine, my specific business. But a lot of people, they you go out here, you teach yourself, you learn through the bumps and bruises, and you make the best of it.
Sure, absolutely. So that's a little bit about lead generation. I mean, how are you, are there any other ways you try to find leads or, get out and meet people?
I try to build as much rapport as possible with my sellers. I've been blessed in that department where I build such great rapport with them that when they find out their friend, their cousin, or anybody is selling a house, they call me. Like I just went and saw a house yesterday in the northwest side of San Antonio, and the seller, we had bought a property off of her probably about 2 months ago. Comes back, calls me yesterday, says, "Hey, we got another one from the probate. Great, let's go check it out." Went and saw that one yesterday. So building rapport with your sellers is always, it's very important because you never know who they're going to recommend you to or who they're going to tell about, tell about you to one of their friends who's going to know somebody who, hey, you know what, I'll take that, whatever it is you're offering for connecting with a house, I'll take that bird dog fee. So rapport is major with your sellers, and just leaving that impression that you're going to do good business and that you're really trying to help them at the same time build your base up, so to speak. You know.
Sure, absolutely. That's definitely pretty important, kind of building that rapport with your sellers. Yeah, absolutely. So, if you wouldn't mind, maybe you kind of spoke about, how you started out, the hustle, the mentality. What was your first deal? Could you kind of explain how you found it?
Oh
Kind of
yeah,
details of it.
that's actually a funny story because me and Aaron Bevins, we were in the middle of doing a deal. I was acquiring a property for Madison Madrid, right? And I was like her acquisitions manager and dispo guy at the same time. And this is, when I first really got into the business. Well, Aaron had a property for sale, and I was gonna make like $2,500 off of it, right? I was all excited, and then I get the HUD, and I see the HUD. I'm like, okay, cool. Pablo Rodriguez 2,500. I'm like, yeah. And then I see Aaron Bevins 20,000. I was like, what? So I call Aaron up because I didn't know. You know what I mean? You don't know what you don't know. But I call Aaron up. I was like, hey, bro, funny story. He's like, yeah, what's up, man? He goes, I say, hey, Aaron, bro, I was looking at the HUD, and bro, funny story. I'm making 2,500, but I see they made an error. They got you making 20 G's. He's like, nah, bro, that's not an error. I was like, wait, what? And then I started learning from Aaron. Like, I already knew wholesaling, but I just didn't know how much you could make off of it. And he showed me, man, the sky's the limit. So then, moving forward, I put out like 100 bandit signs, man, and on the southwest side of San Antonio. And there was this one house. It was trashed, right? Vacant. Looked like the grass hadn't been cut in years. So I got a big sign, put it out there. Hey, I'll buy houses just like this. I left my phone number there. And the people across the street called me and said, hey, we have a house. We want to see if you buy it. I was like, really great. Let's go check it out. And so I bagged that deal. And me and Aaron worked the deal together. And we made like 10 grand a piece.
Wow, how about that?
Yeah. And then we started building, we built up the whole King Solomon Homes and Justice Cash Buyer. That was already Aaron's company. And we just built it up and we took off from there.
Absolutely. So could you kind of explain, a bit about what wholesaling is and what you were doing?
So wholesaling basically is like where you see people talking about how you can do real estate with zero money out of pocket, right? You can flip a house, so to speak, with zero money out of pocket. They're talking about, well, in wholesaling, they're talking about flipping a contract, because basically what it is if you're my seller, right, and I go walk your house and say, yeah, hey, Pablo, guess what? I'm glad you're interested in buying my house. I'm willing to sell it for $50,000. And you're like, okay, cool. Let me go check the numbers. 50,000 works. You contract it. You have an investor who's interested in that property, and you sell them your equitable interest, and you put an assignment fee on it. So like if my buyer is willing to buy it at 70,000, then I make the $20,000 that's in between the 50 and the 70. My seller's happy, my buyer's happy, I'm happy, and it didn't cost me anything out of pocket. And that's so you're assigning your equitable interest to the end buyer.
Okay, very good. So you're kind of I guess, the middleman between the buyer and the seller?
Yep.
Okay, very good.
The glorified middleman position that just pays well if you know how to do it. And it gives you the opportunity to be able to build capital up to get into investing.
Sure, and it kind of seems like it gives you some good perspective on deals, right?
Absolutely. My motel deal that I'm buying is actually a deal that a buddy of mine brought to me that he was having trouble moving, and he really wasn't sure how to move. It was his first commercial property. I was like, man, let's work this deal together. I've got buyers. And then I sat there going through the numbers, and I was like, man, you know what? This is a fantastic investment. Let me hit up my lender, which I use Jaded Financial Partners for my lending, right? And so we're putting that deal together now. And it's 8 units with 2 doors on each unit, so 16 doors. And it's cash flowing after expenses, $10K a month. So if I hadn't been wholesaling, I wouldn't have been able to recognize that opportunity. Because you learn all aspects of real estate while wholesaling. Whether it's you're buying whole, dealing with buyers who are buying whole buyers, flippers, or long-term rentals, Airbnbs. Some people are flipping. A lot of people were doing the historical flips. So you come in contact with all forms of real estate, even apartment complexes.
Yeah, absolutely.
You learn everything.
Yeah, so it sounds like you kind of have that broad perspective, right, of different parts of the business. But what what are you looking to do in the future?
I wanna own like 1,000 apartment complexes. I want to build like a high rise, like those high rise condos, those luxury condos. I want to build one of those. I don't know what it is. I just want to do it. And I've been seeing, like, getting an idea in my head, and that's one of my big goals right there. To build something in downtown San Antonio that'll be like a real skyscraper, something real. Because the skyline in San Antonio is nice. It's building up, but I'd like to be able to say I did that. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
like to build a building like that. But yeah, just apartment complexes, man. I'm wholesaling single family primarily. I've got a couple like commercial deals I'm doing. But let me get that. Good, bro. I want to get as much real estate as I can, man. I want to get some acreage. I just want to, because I mean, think about it. Land is the only thing that they don't make more of, you know. So
Yeah.
I want to acquire as much as possible. I want to build. I don't know. Sky's the limit.
Yeah, that's right. It seems like there's something special about just taking just a piece of dirt and making it into something, right?
Yeah. But to say that you actually had a part of that, like you think about it, like people who have built buildings where that are part of history, like the World Trade Center, the Brooklyn Bridge. Those are buildings that you'll forever remember. I'd like to do something like that. Now that I've made San Antonio my home, I'd like to do something like that out here. Like I built that skyscraper, But I also want to buy land overseas. Like I want to get some apartment complexes down in South America and Africa. I want to be able to say I own real estate on all 7 continents. I think that'd be dope.
Cool. That's awesome. What countries are you looking into?
Colombia. I'm looking over there where Akon's doing Akon City in Senegal. I
Okay.
think that'd be dope. I know the acreage out there, it's a little expensive, but I can see it worthwhile in the long run, build an apartment complex out there. But I'd like to do that, I'm wanting to go to Africa. I was hoping to go this year, but with COVID, it's kind of made things difficult. But hopefully I'll make it next year. Asia would be nice, to have something out there. Europe, anywhere, Germany, Italy, just places where there's going to be, a lot of people. But I'd love to be able to say I own real estate on all 7 continents. I think that'd be dope.
Yeah,
I got
absolutely.
a reason to go visit.
That's right. That's right. I'm just curious. What's that with Akon? What's Akon doing out there?
Akon started Akon City in the Senegal where he's from. He's building like it's like a $6 billion project he's got going on up there. And he's even got the, not Bitcoin, but the cryptocurrency. He's going to start his own cryptocurrency as well. So, I mean, like those are mobile moves, That's what I want to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What is it about Africa that intrigues you?
Well, I mean, you think about it, I have my own beliefs, but that's where everything started, you know. That's undeniable. It don't matter what book you pick up and read, it all started in Africa. So I feel like I want to go there just to go see it. But I mean, it's one of the richest places on earth. Think of everything that's came out of there, all the natural resources that they have there in abundance. I mean, it's a beautiful place, and I feel like since we all come from there, we all are due to go back there at some point in time. I just like to be able to go back and say, hey, you know, I built something there. Or I own some, you know, own some property there.
Yeah, absolutely. So what is it about, you know, it's one thing to have real estate just here in America, but what is it about having it in different locations that's appealing to you?
I mean, there's a whole big world outside of America, you know what I mean? And people are everywhere. So long as there are people who are going to need a place to live, to stay. So money can be made anywhere. And at the same token, one place's economy might look super cheap right now, but in 10 years, that economy might be through the roof. You never know. But it's just, you know, to have the opportunity to be able to do it, you know, I think it's just pretty dope. I'd like to say, you know, I had some type of positive influence on the world. You know what I mean? Even if I can go build, you know, homes for impoverished youth and stuff like that. Like, I'd love to go to Brazil and do something. I know some people who've gone to Guatemala and Honduras and built schools and stuff like that out there. But yeah, I'd like to, I mean, there's so many different ways to give back. That's also another thing I want to do in every country.
That's awesome. So it sounds like real estate's kind of your vehicle to be able to give back.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, if you're blessed with something, you know, no matter what it is, whether you're a newscaster, you're doing sports, or you're doing music, you know, if your life, if you're able to achieve the level of success that you've always wanted to achieve, why not give back and inspire the next person? You know?
Yeah.
If I can cause a ripple by being a penny in the well, you know, how awesome is that? To be able to help, you know, someone else, or maybe a large group of people, you know. That's the true testament of a person as well, at least in my eyes.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, I guess, kind of bringing it back home. What do you like about living in San Antonio?
I love the cost of living. It's never cold here. I think the biggest thing I have is a hoodie. It's always hot here. Like, it's probably cool as it's been all summer. I think it's like 90 degrees right now. But the real estate economy here is flourishing. I mean, people are building houses. Neighborhoods are going up left and right here. So I see the growth here. I mean, we're right outside, you know, we're not far from Austin, 45 minutes. You got Google, Apple, and all these other companies coming out here now. I mean, why not be where it's flourishing at? You don't want to be somewhere where it's not, where the economy is not moving. I mean, it needs some sort of movement. Here, it's done great for us. So I'm loving it. It's a hell of a drive to the beach. I love the water, man. I normally go like to Miami every year. So
Okay.
that's the only downside. But no, it's great out here. I mean, they're building nonstop. Neighborhoods are popping up left and right. So,
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a little that's a little adjustment from New York.
definitely. But the thing about New York is there's no more growth. They peaked. They're not building more in New York. They might knock down the same thing and then rebuild it again, but they're not building nothing new.
Sure.
There's
Yeah.
an insane amount of land out here. Everything's
Yep.
big out here.
Second largest state down here.
Yeah.
I'm just curious as well, you know, because you're from New York, I mean, what are kind of the differences maybe in business culture between Texas and New York?
Texas, everybody's laid back. New York, everybody's kicking and screaming and fighting, trying to move faster, trying to outwork the next person. So, I mean, it's an open field out here. I mean, you just got to have the hunger. Some people have it naturally, some people don't. But I see personally more of it in the city. The city is like, they say if you survive the city, you can survive anywhere. You're thriving, So it's real laid back down here.
Yeah. Absolutely. So what are some other maybe differences kind of working in real estate between New York and Texas?
In 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 New York, the price of the properties is way, way higher. Like it's like California prices. Whereas here, 100,000, 200,000, that's middle class homes. It's barely an apartment in New York.
Yep, absolutely.
You get a townhouse for like 300,000 in New York. So
Yeah.
expensive. The prices are definitely different. There's more laws with real estate too in New York as well. I think wholesale deals up there, you have to have an attorney on each independent deal.
Mm.
So it's a lot, you got to work a lot harder as well.
Sure. Yeah, in Texas, you don't need one, right?
No, you don't need an attorney in Texas unless you're doing if you're doing an owner finance deal, yeah. But if you're just wholesale, it's a lot of like up in New York. There's a lot more stringent laws, but here there's just so much. It's more open. They're constantly building more real estate. So long as real estate's being built, then you're obviously going to have real estate to work. But the population down here is nowhere near like New York. So here, there's 2.5 million people in San Antonio. In New York, you got like 18 million, I think it is.
Yeah, a little different.
Smaller piece of land with 10 times the amount of people, you really got to grind.
Yeah.
Wide open piece of land with 2 million people, it's like I could run circles.
Yep, absolutely. That's a good way to look at it. So I know you kind of talked a little bit about your motel deal and a bit about apartment complexes, but is there anything kind of in the near future you're looking to do?
I mean, I'm looking to get an apartment complex. I want to get at least 100 units before the end of the year.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. So what is it about apartment complexes that you like?
Residual money. I mean, think about it. You could build a house you could build your big, gorgeous, beautiful house for $500,000, right? And maybe rent it out at $2,500 a month, so it doesn't even cover the note, or it's like it's not worth it. It's one door. That same $500,000, I'll go get 10 doors. Maybe I get a rundown, 10plex or something like that. Fix it up, and now I got 10 doors that are bringing me, at least $300 a month cash flow. It's a beautiful thing. That's an extra $3,000 I don't have to work for, and it comes every month.
Absolutely.
You want mailbox money. You want to be able to figure out how to make money while you're sleeping.
Absolutely. Yeah, that can definitely be tough for people because they don't know where to start, or maybe, sometimes their problem is they have too much information,
Yeah, I've seen stuff like that. I've seen people like that. I mean, but I can't speak for anybody else. I can speak for me. If you got to be able to take the information and not let it overwhelm you. Figure out what you need to do, what works best with your plan that you've seen somebody else do, and duplicate it. That's it. It's not hard. You're not trying to reinvent the wheel. You're just trying to duplicate.
Yeah.
It's like Steph Curry shooting a three, and then Drake coming right behind him and doing the same three. He's just duplicating what Steph did. Neither one of them's the originator, right?
Yeah.
But who cares? You just duplicate.
Right.
You can have the same level of success. Keep it simple.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Pablo, is there anything that you haven't said already that you'd just like to really hammer home?
No, I think I covered everything, brother. I mean, Just get out here and get it. You gotta want it. Make your network your net worth.
Yeah, I really like that what you said about kind of you know, just kind of keeping a good circle around you, you know, and just kind of blocking out the negativity. I thought that was great. Absolutely. So Pablo, where can you know, maybe someone's watching, someone really likes what you know, some of the knowledge you dropped. Where can we find you?
Instagram Pablo _the hustlepreneur. On Facebook, I'm just Pablo E. Rodriguez, and that's pretty much it. I don't really do too much social media. I'm more, you know, I've cut back from that. I'm more about living life now. You gotta live it. Can't watch it.
That's right. You gotta live it, man. Okay, Pablo. Well, you know, like I said before, I appreciate you coming on the show. You know, you had a lot of interesting things to say. I didn't know about Akon and Senegal.
Oh, you gotta look that up.
I know. I'm gonna look that up right now. But yeah, you know, you shared some great knowledge, and it was great to have you on the show. So thank you.
Thank you, brother. All right. Have a good one, man. Take care.
You too.